County Collectors Fair, Medina County Fairgrounds Community Center. I'm Kenny Roda, and I'm going to introduce our very special guest here in a second. I've always wanted to do this. All right, Alan. So check this guy out, man. All right, you gotta love this. He's sitting right next to me. Yeah, you see Scream, you see Ghostface. Is that Forrest Gump? Yes, it is Forrest Gump. This guy ended up being both of those in those major movies. Allen Robinson joining us here with Greenie Sports Cards. Alan, a pleasure to meet you. Thanks for doing this, man. And you and I were talking off camera, and I'm like, we got to do something on the air, man. This is so much fun.
Man, yeah, thanks for having me on, man. It was great. And I'm glad you're a fan, and we're having so much fun here today. So happy to be here.
Well, and people can come out. We're here. It's Saturday afternoon while we're doing this right now. We're here till 6 o'clock on Saturday. And then Sunday, 10 to 4. And you're here signing autographs and meeting people, taking pictures, talking about your experiences as a stunt double, a stunt actor, a stunt man, all of the above. And when I found out that this guy was the stunt double for Tom Hanks in Forrest Gump, I said to Greenie and Jeremy, I need to talk to this guy because it's one of my all-time favorite movies. First of all, how does one begin to be a stunt double, a stunt man in Hollywood?
Well, it's a long journey with a lot of sacrifice, but it's well worth it. It's it's training and learning skills and being at the right place at the right time, meeting people, getting the opportunities, getting your foot in the door. But it takes time. People want to know how to get in stunts. It's like going to college.
Okay.
It can take like 4 years before you start making a good living at it. It's not overnight success, but you're always training new skills. So the more you know, the more you work. If you're well-rounded, you get jobs like as a stunt double because the job may require simple things like running and jumping, but you may have to, fall off of something or be set on fire or crash a car.
Oh, that's all.
All in a day's work. You know.
What was your first movie? Do you remember your first movie?
The first movie was called Bad to the Bone, low budget biker movie. And I played a redneck who got hit with a axe handle but the next movie after that was actually pretty instrumental. And I was in Psycho 4 with Anthony Perkins, and I was Anthony Perkins' stunt double. So I was the Norman Bates stunt double in Psycho 4, his final Psycho movie.
Wait a second. You're Forrest Gump, you're Ghostface, and you were, that's unbelievable.
I've been very fortunate, very lucky, a great career. Now looking back at it, but I've had some really cool breaks and opportunities, and I'm really grateful for that. And it's great to come out to events like today to be able to share those with people because I don't want to keep them to myself, I love sharing the stories.
And we're seeing some of your work there as, again, you're out here at the Medina County Collectors Fair, and people can come out till 6 o'clock tonight and then 10 to 4 tomorrow. So, all right, let's start with Ghostface, all right? Because you were in Scream 1 as a stunt double, and then in Scream 2, you were Ghostface. You were that right there. That was you.
Yeah.
So how did you get started in Scream 1 and then you become Ghostface in Scream 2?
Well, Kenny, the way a stunt person gets hired is by the stunt coordinator.
Okay.
So when a film comes out, there's a stunt coordinator. He hires the stunt people. I mean, he needs stunt people. I mean, he needs stunt doubles. And so Tony Caesar was a stunt double on Scream 1. He was a friend of mine. He was a great stunt coordinator. And he hired me to double Stu, Matthew Lillard, as a stunt double for him. And I did that movie, and I got a TV crashed over my head. Another day, just another day.
At the office.
Yep. And then Scream 2 gets in for film production. Tony goes, well, I need a stunt double for Timothy Oliphant.
Okay.
So he was in the movie. So I was his stunt double. And he goes, well, I think we're going to use you as the Ghostface. And I was like, all right, And so I did the opening scenes, which opening scenes of any of the Scream movies are the iconic ones.
Absolutely.
And so I was really fortunate, but I had to learn quickly how to bring an inanimate object, a mask, to life. When the director, Wes Craven, told me, like, okay, you're going to be stabbing this character, Jada Pickett's character, in the movie theater, but you're going to stab her multiple times, but every time you stab her, I want a different expression. How do you make a mask had a different. So I was instantly trial by fire to learn how to do that because
Wow.
I had to instantly just go from within. 'Cause I was like, it's got to, what's in, got to come out. So I was like intent at first. My job was to kill her. So I'm serious. I'm very rigid. And by the stabbing of like the third, fourth time, I'm like, okay, she's mortally wounded. I've got her now.
You're laughing.
I'm laughing in the mask, and my head's going back as I
Right.
back to it. And that came out on film, but I had to learn that. So as a stunt guy, you better be always learning because I got thrust in that spot. You don't want to mess it up. You're Ghostface. So
That's it. And
yeah,
you take the big breaks and the opportunities like that, make the most of them, right?
that's right.
All right. Can you tell the story you told me off the air about the mask?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
'Cause I wanted to make sure. Okay.
Okay.
Because I didn't know somebody come after you. You know what I mean?
They might, but wait in line.
Yeah.
I still have a knife. No. So the mask. So while we were filming it, for some reason, I don't remember why, but I ended up taking the mask I was using home with me and threw it in my stunt bag at the end of the day, and took it home and ended up in a cardboard box.
Okay.
They never asked for it back. It wasn't really tight security around the props back then.
Right.
And I'm not a big collector, so I just thought it was a cool mask. It wasn't a popular movie yet.
Right.
So it wasn't for any reason, but it sat in my attic for 25 years in a box.
Ghostface is in your attic just sitting
The
there.
Ghostface mask just sitting there until a few years ago. A good buddy of mine, Lee Waddell, and we were talking and said, I was telling him how I think I still have one of the Ghostface masks in my attic. And
Right.
he said, hang up the phone right now and go up and take it out of the attic. You don't know what you got up there. I'm like, oh. And I pictured this thing just being melted into a glob of silicone and
Right.
fabric just flaking. And the mask ended up being perfect. I've now I take it as my responsibility to be able to take it out and share it with people. So I have it here. I have it here this weekend. You can come by. It's in a case to protect it, but you can see the actual mask used in the movie. It's a piece of cinematic history.
It is. That is awesome. And I'm thrilled to be chatting with Allen Robinson, stunt double, stunt actor, stunt man extraordinaire, fabulous career. Let's see, Scream 1 and 2, Batman Forever, The Mule. We're going to get the Forrest Gump, Sully, Greyhound, my girlfriend's favorite TV show, Sons of Anarchy. Oh, we're going to get into some of this stuff here. Okay. But I got to please me right now. And that is Forrest. And we always say it on my radio show, Kenny and JT show. We love it. Forrest Gump. How does one get picked to be in a Tom Hanks movie and play one of the most iconic movie characters of all time, Forrest Gump?
Well, the way we get hired as stunt people is hired through the stunt coordinator, as I mentioned.
Yep.
And I got referred because I was the same relative size of Tom Hanks at the time.
Okay.
So it was 1993 when we were filming it. So I was living in Orlando. I got the job. They hired me, and I went up to Beaufort, South Carolina, where they sent me up there, and so I got hired. They give you that haircut, and I apparently I looked pretty good. And one of my very first days on the job, we were out with a shrimp boat, and my scalp got burned because I had no sunscreen on this freshly shaven head, nearly shaven head. And I won't forget that. But when you're making the movie, you don't know that it's going to be a big hit.
Right.
And I got the script. They gave me the script. Go, here's the script. You're on the movie, and as a new filmmaker, I'm like, oh, this is cool. But to me, as a new filmmaker, it read really silly. I'm like, this is silly. I'm just happy to be working.
Sure.
And Tom wasn't the megastar he is today, although he was just coming off of doing Philadelphia, which gave him some critical acclaim.
Yes.
But you think of him as bosom buddies. You think of
love that show though. What a great show, right?
Yeah, right.
With Peter Scalera. That was a great TV show back in the day.
So you don't know it's going to be a hit movie,
right?
When you're making it, but you just do your best job.
Sure.
And then I did the job, and when it came out, I was like, okay, I lucked out. That was special. And then that led to me working with him 6 other times. So I've worked with Tom and 6 other projects. Um,
Wow.
yeah, and I look nothing like him, but I keep getting hired because I'm a good chameleon. I'll gain weight and I'll do things, you
What you
know.
got to do, right? Whatever it takes.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And so it's been a good ride, and Tom has always been very generous and and kind to me, and he's a great guy to work with.
Well, he appreciates you doing all the falls for him, so he doesn't have to.
Yeah,
That's what the
yeah,
job of a stunt
yeah,
actor is, right?
yeah, yeah,
All right. What scenes did you do? This is what, because I'm going to go home and watch the movie tonight.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So what scenes were you in Forrest Gump, so I can say I just talked to that guy today?
Well, you know the scene when he's with Jenny in the college campus,
Yep.
and they're sitting there by the bed, and he goes, that wasn't me.
Oh, that wasn't.
Yeah, no. So no, I would. So after jumping off the shrimp boat, that's
Okay.
me swimming to the pier. That's me swimming.
Okay.
I'm running in front of the pickup truck when he's talking to Jenny. He's holding her books, and then he gets hit in the back of the head with a rock, and the pickup truck starts chasing him. And it's right on his heels. That's me running. You show the side shot.
Yeah.
And in one particular take, the bumper actually touched the bottom of my foot, nearly sending me
Whoa.
down because there's no room for air there. If you fall down, you can't go, oh, let me fall over here and
Right.
not get run over. So it didn't look like a big deal, but they wanted it really close. The stunt coordinator, Bud Davis, was driving the truck. I trusted him immensely. And then another scene was in Vietnam.
Okay.
I picked up soldiers and ran out with them, including picking up Lieutenant Dan when he was calling in the airstrike. And so I pick him up, and he's yelling, and then that's when I get shot in the buttocks. And
See, everybody does that,
yeah,
though, right?
yeah, it's
But
fun.
you were right there. You
Yeah,
had
yeah.
a first-hand sound of
Oh,
that,
yeah.
right? In the
Oh,
butt
yeah. In
talks.
the buttocks. And, done that. So yeah, those are some of the scenes. So it's neat when the movie comes out and you watch it and you're like, yeah, I remember, because I think of what was I doing behind the scenes, or things that you don't see me, like shrimp boat crashes into the pier after he jumps off.
Right.
Well, I was on the back side of that, just being on the boat. It's like I remember crashing that shrimp boat into the dock, and
That's crazy.
you know, testing out the hammock that was rigged on the shrimp boat out at sea. And he's looking at the stars, and one day you're like, hey, climb out on this and see if this works. Will Tom be safe out in this hammock, you know, hanging on the side of a shrimp boat? And you know, you're doing those things, so you're not necessarily on camera, but you're testing and
Right.
testing things out to make sure they're safe for the actor.
That's fantastic. I and I don't know if you can verify this, but I recently saw an interview, unless I dreamed this, okay, Alan, of Tom Hanks talking about how he came up with the voice for Forrest Gump. And he said that the young boy that played him, okay, that had the braces on the knee, he sat down and talked with him, okay? And that's how that young boy actually spoke. And Tom Hanks heard that allegedly. I'll throw the allegedly in there, right? And he said, that's Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
And Jen, a box of chocolates,
Yeah.
laugh is like, and that kind of led him down the path. And that's why we do that voice allegedly to this day.
Well, you know, I heard the same story.
Okay.
I can't verify it allegedly. That's how, but I've heard that outside of this conversation. So probably some pretty good truth in that.
All right.
And I believe that.
Yeah, it's great. You worked with Clint Eastwood. They're telling me to wrap up. Give me a few more minutes. This guy's a legend.
Clint Eastwood.
Yes, Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
Did you work with him supposedly?
Not supposedly, but I did.
You did. Okay.
The first time I worked with him, I was doubling Tom Hanks as Sully in the movie Sully, and Clint Eastwood was the director. I met Clint Eastwood on a ferry boat in the middle of the Hudson River, actually where the flight landed, and he's getting to know me, and I'm telling him how I've worked with Tom on this and this and this, and Clint looks at me and goes, "Have you ever doubled me?" And I was like, no, sir. And I was just like, I know he was kidding.
Right.
I know his doubles are his age, 90. They're not working, you know.
Right.
And that's how I first met. Cut to a couple years later, I get a phone call from Stunt Coordinator. Goes, I'm doing a movie called The Mule, and it's got Clint Eastwood, the actor and the director. I think you'd make a good double. Well, I used to model my live show characters when I got started in the mid '80s after Clint Eastwood. I was tall and slim. Well, anyway, the guy he said, I think you make a good stunt double for Clint Eastwood. And I go, well, Clint thinks I would, and I got the job. And so I got the
Wow.
job doubling, being Clint Eastwood stunt double on the movie The Mule. I did very little. I was driving the pickup truck, doing some stuff with some chase scenes, but it was the most memorable job because I really admire the man. It just he's a legend.
Right.
He's of a different generation of movie actors, and his longevity just he's amazingly kind. It's
That's
sweet.
that's awesome. All right, I always do this when I interview somebody. We do selfies live on the air like this. All right. So this is the guy. This is the legend right here, Allen Robinson. Unbelievable career, unbelievable stories. And if you want to find out more about this guy, hear more great stories like that, you need to come out to the Medina County Collectors Fair, Medina County Fairgrounds Community Center. He'll be here the rest of today till 6, Sunday till 4, right? 10 to 4. You can meet him and hear great stories. Get a picture with Ghostface, man. Maybe he'll even stab you or something like that. Allen, thanks so much for doing this.
You
We
bet. I
appreciate
had a
it.
blast. Thank you so much. That was fun. Yeah. Thank you. Fun.
That was awesome, man. Thank you. So, seriously.